be so exciting to wake up in the morning and think that that's what's happening.
March 24, 2006. The moment that would change the very fabric of our reality. The birth of a revolution, a story that began in the mind of a visionary Elon Musk. But this was no ordinary man, no ordinary dream. This was the first step toward conquering the final frontier, a bold leap into a future where space was no longer the domain of governments alone. This was the beginning of a new era where private companies would challenge the power of nations and rewrite the rules of space exploration. Before the rockets, before the satellites, before the promise of colonizing Mars, there was a struggle, a battle against the impossible. It was in this small, dimly lit room, among scattered tools, handwritten equations, and endless sketches on yellowed paper, that the impossible began to take shape. The walls of that room were lined with the dreams of one man, driven by an unwavering belief that humanity's future was among the stars. In 2002, a man named Elon Musk founded SpaceX, a man who, unlike others, believed that space travel could be made affordable and accessible, not just for governments, but for the people. His mind didn't just dream of rockets, he dreamed of revolutionizing the very infrastructure of spaceflight itself. And he knew that the only way to reach those stars was by defying every boundary the world had set. Every convention, every rule. Space had long been reserved for nations with enormous budgets and endless resources. Yet Musk envisioned a future where space exploration was as commonplace as air travel, available to anyone with the vision, the will, and the audacity to reach for it. But that dream came with an obstacle: the cost. Governments had spent billions on launching technology, and it was clear that private enterprises like SpaceX would face a monumental challenge. How could they compete with the titans of the aerospace industry, with their decades of experience, their billions in funding, and their established relationships with the government? The vision was clear, yet the path was littered with failures. Musk's first rocket, Falcon 1, was born from a dream of disrupting the status quo. A two-stage liquid-fueled rocket, built not for grandeur, but to send small satellites into orbit. This would be the weapon in his battle against the aerospace giants. Lockheed Martin, Boeing, companies backed by governments and billions of dollars. Falcon 1 was a modest name for a craft designed to defy the conventions of spaceflight. Yet despite its humble appearance, Falcon 1 was a technological marvel, crafted from the ground up with one goal: to drive costs down, to challenge the dominance of the legacy players, and ultimately to unlock the future of space exploration. But every revolution is born in the flames of failure. March 24, 2006 was supposed to mark the dawn of something new, a new beginning, a new hope for the future of space. It was the day Falcon 1 would leave the Earth behind, its engines roaring to life, its trajectory set for a bold new world. Musk stood on the edge of history, ready to watch the rocket soar, but fate had other plans. At T-129 seconds, as the rocket climbed higher, it became clear that something was wrong. A small anomaly, a fuel leak. In mere moments, a catastrophic fire ignited the rocket's engines, consuming it in a violent blaze. Falcon 1, the dream of a new space age, was lost in an instant. The fiery explosion was a brutal reminder of the immense challenges ahead. Yet Musk didn't flinch. The failure, as devastating as it was, became just another lesson. A setback, but not the end. Behind the failure was a man who refused to give up. Musk's resilience in the face of failure would define SpaceX's early years. For most, this disaster would have been enough to abandon the mission. For Musk, it was simply the first step in a longer journey filled with more failure, more mistakes, and more losses. But it would also be a journey marked by victories, by breakthroughs that would leave the world forever changed. The road ahead would be riddled with obstacles, financial struggles, technical difficulties, the crushing weight of public doubt. But Musk had a vision that could not be extinguished. The fire of March 24, 2006 was the beginning of a struggle that would ignite a revolution in the world of space travel. And it was a fire that would fuel the determination of a visionary who would stop at nothing to make the impossible possible. SpaceX's true journey had just begun. A failure, yes, but failure was not an end. it was merely the beginning of what would become the greatest comeback story in the history of spaceflight. Elon Musk said in press conference, "I am not trying to be a visionary. I am trying to make a reality, something that seems impossible to most." At that moment, Musk's resolve was forged in fire. While others would have faltered, Musk doubled down. SpaceX, against all odds, secured its first NASA contract in 2008, a mere 2 years after its disastrous launch attempt. A contract that promised over $1 billion, a contract that would set the stage for the next battle. March 2007. Another failure, another trial by fire. The critics, the naysayers, they only grew louder. But Musk, the man who had already defied the odds to get here, saw these setbacks not as defeats, but as stepping stones. With every rocket that crumbled, he found new ways to rise from the ashes. Until finally, September 2008. SpaceX achieved the impossible. September 2008. SpaceX made history when it became the first privately owned company to successfully send a liquid-fueled rocket into Earth orbit. An unprecedented achievement, one that shattered the conventions of space travel. One that proved that Musk was not just a dreamer, but a pioneer. In that moment, SpaceX became a force, and the world would never be the same. But SpaceX was not content with just one victory. No, Musk's ambition was boundless. The first step had been taken, but the real journey into the heart of space was just beginning. And for that, SpaceX would need something far more powerful than the Falcon 1. 2010, enter Falcon 9. A rocket with 9 engines, built for something greater, something bolder. And this time, SpaceX would not just stop at reaching orbit. They would do what others thought impossible: reusable rockets. A concept laughed at for decades, a dream that no one thought could be realized. But in December of 2010, Falcon 9 did more than launch, it made history. The Dragon capsule, SpaceX's brainchild, was released in orbit, and for the first time, a private company had successfully delivered a payload to the International Space Station. This was no longer a dream. This was reality. And then came 2012, a moment of pure triumph. SpaceX made history once again when its Dragon capsule became the first commercial spacecraft to dock with the ISS. A historic first. The world watched as the company that had once been dismissed as a pipe dream took its place among the giants of space exploration. 2018, Falcon Heavy, the largest, most powerful rocket ever built by a private company, a symbol of SpaceX's relentless ambition. And for its maiden flight, SpaceX didn't launch just any payload. No, they launched a Tesla Roadster, a mannequin seated at the wheel, waving to the stars. This was SpaceX's message to the world. They were no longer playing by the rules. They were making their own. And with each passing year, SpaceX's empire grew. The Starlink project. Thousands of satellites launched into orbit, transforming global communications. The first crewed mission to the ISS in 2020 proved that private companies were no longer just contractors, but pioneers leading humanity into the next great era of space exploration. And now SpaceX stands at the precipice of its most ambitious goal yet, the Starship, a craft designed not just to reach space, but to change the very nature of human existence, to take us to the moon, to Mars, to the stars. A vessel that will carry humanity beyond the bounds of Earth, where colonization of new worlds is no longer a fantasy, but a real possibility. SpaceX is not just a company, it is a catalyst for humanity's future. And while the stars above remain a distant dream to many, to SpaceX, they are a promise that the future is waiting for us to reach out, to touch the cosmos, and to claim our place among the stars. We've only just begun. The stars are waiting. Subscribe to uncover the mysteries of the universe.